I'm worried about you guys. You seem to be drifting apart. Is everything okay? The first to voice concern was my daughter, Rachel. I acted like a father, even though Rachel was 21 years old, and assured her that we were fine. But at the same time, the gears in my head began to slowly turn. Was it? I trusted my wife Moira with my life. We had been together for 23 years, but Rachel is right. Something was wrong. Not everything with us was perfect, but it was pretty damn good. However, ever since Rachel left home, it's like we've drifted apart. I've tried a lot, suggested dates, trips, and spending time together. The typical response to my attempts was, "That sounds lovely, Ian, but I'm going to be busy for the next few weeks, so let's do it next month." Moira seemed more interested in her friends, volunteer work, and hobbies. She was at lunch almost every day, not with me, and if even Rachel noticed this, it must be worse than I thought. Moira is an attractive woman. She has a great sense of style and a warm, disposable personality. I'm doing well, decent job and income, keeping myself in good physical shape as I approach my 5th decade. I thought back to happier times, including our wedding day when I felt like the happiest person in the world. It went perfectly, although the best man's speech was a little more awkward than I would have liked, with references to a rather raucous stag party. Besides, I didn't remember much from it. One thing about Moira's hen party was a bit odd. Along with all the girls, her best friend Vince Hurst took part. I didn't pay much attention to it. They were very close friends. I wondered if he was gay because I didn't see any girls around him, but I didn't see any guys either. They often met up for a drink or a meal, and I felt a little awkward about it, so I asked Moira about their relationship. She assured me that there had never been, and never would be, any romantic element to their friendship. I believed her completely. Moira just couldn't lie. She prided herself on her openness and honesty. After we got married, we moved to another city for a better job, and everything worked out well. We both had a new circle of friends, and it didn't upset me that Moira would see Vince less often, even though they still talked to each other. We began married life, and almost 2 years later, we had our first, and, as it turned out, only daughter, Rachel. Moira slipped easily into the role of caring mother, and we couldn't have been happier. Years later, when Rachel moved in with friends, Vince took a job closer to our home. Moira had lost touch with some of her old girlfriends and seemed to jump at the chance to renew her friendship with Vince. There were dinners, drinks, and getting to know each other's lives. This brought me back to Rachel's comment. She's right. We seemed to have drifted apart, and I was feeling a little neglected, not helped by the fact that we both miss Rachel. Moira's social media posts with Vince contributed to this, as did the comments asking if he was her husband. Moira's 47th birthday party at our house compounded my feelings. She was constantly around Vince, laughing and joking with their mutual friends. Anyone who didn't know would have thought they were a married couple. It was our longtime neighbor and good friend Linda who caught me off guard. "Are you all right, Ian? Do you look a little out of sorts?" I tried to evade answering, but she knew me well and pressed on until I shared my concerns. "You guys are okay, aren't you? I know Vince is a good friend. We can have friends of the opposite sex. Come to think of it, it's the same as you and me." "I don't know, Linda. It seems to me that if you and I spent as much time together as those two, we would develop a deeper relationship, and who knows where that would lead." I guess that Linda must have said something to Moira, because after a while she came up to me. "What did you say to Linda, and what was that nonsense about being ignored?" "Only that my wife didn't talk to me all evening, but she had plenty of time for everyone else." "We're hosting, and I'm supposed to go through everyone who came." "Except you didn't. You can't get away from Vince." I saw the rage in her eyes. "What are you talking about? You're being ridiculous and petty. We're just friends, and the fact that he's a man doesn't matter." "Really? You're infatuated with each other, and I'm wondering what else is going on." "Nothing else is going on, and you need to get a grip." She took a deep breath and rushed away. Damn, I felt awful. It was her birthday after all, and I was getting into an argument. No, we didn't speak for the rest of the evening, and things didn't improve over the next week. I tried to apologize, but failed miserably, and of course there was no remorse on Moira's part. When we did talk, things didn't go well. She announced that Vince wanted her to go on a short weekend trip with him. I wondered if they had set this up to test me and see how I would react. The fact that it crossed my mind made me realize the trouble we're in. Once trust is lost, it's hard, if not impossible, to regain. And you want to go? You do? Given where we are, you're choosing that option at this point? We're friends and we get along very well. And there's nothing wrong with it, it's just a trip and I could use the rest. Yeah, well, I offered a lot of options and you flat out refused, but you made time for this one. So, where and when are you going to take a break from us? Moira lowered her gaze. It's a hot trip next weekend to Rome. Damn, so I can assume you've already said yes, and Rome is somewhere we've been meaning to go for years, but you've never been able to find the time. That's fascinating. Moira tried to soften her approach. Look, I know it's not ideal, Ian, but it's just for a few days. There's nothing sexual or romantic about it. You don't own me. You can't tell me who to be friends with, and it's only your jealousy that's causing the problem. I can't and don't want to control you, and yes, I am jealous when he gets so much of your time and energy. You have an emotional relationship with him. He already gets the best of you, dating and now trips too. It's not dating and it's not like that. I love you, not Vince. You do? It doesn't seem like it. Can I assume you talked to him about us, shared details of our relationship? It confused her. Sometimes he helps me see things from your point of view and think things through. Yeah, and that works amazingly well, doesn't it? I doubt he and I see things the same way, and you're more distant than ever. Do you discuss our sex life? Not really, just bits and pieces. Come on, Moira. Even you must realize it's private, and you should never discuss it with him. You share more with him than you do with me, and it sounds like you're married to him, not me. Come on, Ian. That's not true. I'm your wife, but I can't let him down now. You're going anyway. The decision's already been made without my input. Since when did my opinion stop mattering? You don't value your opinion, you value yours and Vince's. As the trip drew closer and closer, I got the impression that Moira was regretting something, but didn't want to give up. I was glad to be at work when she hit the road on Friday morning. A goodbye text came. Love you and cherish you. I'll be back before you know it. I'll call you later. I thought about going to a bar and getting drunk or going to my sister Janice's. We fight a lot, but she's always on my side when necessary and will happily cuss Moira out if she thinks it will help me. In the end, I did neither and decided to spend a quiet night at home contemplating my marriage. I needed to make some decisions. I didn't want this to continue. That night she called me, and after seriously considering not answering, I answered neutrally nonetheless. Hi. Hi, honey. We got here okay, and the hotel is lovely. I just wanted to get in touch with you. Yes, thanks for the call. At the very least, I know you are a safe one. We toured the Colosseum this afternoon, and this evening we will go to the Trevi Fountain and the Spanish Steps. It's really marvelous. Sounds like fun. All those places we wanted to see and talked about. I'll drop a coin in the Trevi and wish I could come back with you. You'll love it there. It won't be the same, Moira. I wanted to open all this with you as a couple. Don't turn this into another fight, Ian. I'm sorry for the way things turned out between us, and I'm sorry I left like this. I can't stop thinking about you. I'm telling you again, there's nothing going on between us. We're not having sex. She said nothing like she was talking to a 2-year-old. Well, you're in another country with another man, so there is something. Moira shouted, "Ah, you're impossible," whereupon the line cut off. I felt lonely and broken, and no one called on Saturday night. Once again, social media posts were not at all helpful. Rome looked amazing. There were a few comments from family members asking questions like, "Where am I?" And I noted the reply, "Away with friends for the weekend." Rachel called. She had seen the social media posts, but was still shocked when I confirmed that they were together in Rome. I recounted our conversations and how her mom was always going to make the trip no matter what. Rachel wanted to call her, but I insisted she stay out of it. It doesn't make sense. She thinks it's my fault for being jealous. She's not doing anything wrong, she says, and I'm overreacting. She seems to think that if they're not having sex, everything is fine. Well, maybe she's right, Dad. She's allowed to have friends, and traveling with friends is not unusual. Maybe jealous? I tried to suppress my irritation. Like I said, Rachel, you're better off staying out of it. There's a bigger problem that neither you nor your mom can see. When Moira came back during Sunday tea time, she tried to hug and kiss me. I didn't bother to stop her, but it was lukewarm and unenthusiastic. We tried to talk to each other, but it was awkward. With a few false starts, never before had I had to think before speaking to her. I sensed she felt the same way. I'm sorry I didn't call yesterday. My head is spinning, and I'm not used to you and me fighting. I missed you so much, but I had every right to go on this trip. I know we need to talk some more to work things out. You mean talk or just get me to accept your way of thinking? What if I took Linda on a weekend trip to Paris? That would be inappropriate. She's divorced. So what? Vince is single. That's different. She likes you. Are you saying Vince doesn't like you? Seeing her hesitation, I continued. Has he ever told you he's in love with you? What? No, we've never considered anything like that. But you know he's in love, don't you? Don't you? By the way he looks at you and pays attention to what you say. Maybe there's something to it. It's one of the reasons I can't let him down. Imagine having those feelings for someone for all that time, knowing it will never become anything more than that. You can't have us both, Moira, and if you keep him that close, it could prevent him from moving on. He could meet a stunning Italian woman this weekend, and it's affecting us. All I feel is abandonment. Come on, Ian. We're both confident and independent people. We've never lived off each other. You know, I can't stand the fact that the woman who should care about me more than anyone else cares more about her friend than she does about me. Think of all the time and effort you spend on us, not counting the daily grind, compared to what you do for Vince and your other girlfriends. I was surprised when Vince knocked on my door and asked for permission to come in. Moira's not here, Vince. She's at work. I know I wanted to see you. I'm not surprised. After all, you're her confidant. I assume she tells you everything we discuss. She's my friend. You have nothing to worry about. If I were a woman, this wouldn't be a problem. And I don't think that's true. Maybe it's not that important, but whoever it is, if we end up drifting apart and not sharing, it's always going to be a problem. Tell me, what do you both talk about? Anything. Everything, I guess. You mean your thoughts, ideas, plans, and hopes? Yeah, all that and 1,001 other things. Mostly just stuff. I was quiet for a moment, trying to comprehend what I was hearing. That's what I miss. We just talk about everyday things now. The house, the bills, the family. I think you guys have a good time, having dinner and lunch. Well, yes, we do. And I enjoy her company. Again, it's supposed to be enjoyable. You know how many times I've suggested to her that we have dinner and go out and do all sorts of romantic things. I lost someone I shared hopes and dreams with. You have a more fulfilling relationship with her than I do. Jesus, Ian, just talk to her. Tell her how you feel. I know she loves you. I've tried. She thinks it's all about sex, that I'm jealous and trying to control her. It doesn't change anything. I've lost her. Don't say that, Ian. Moira would be devastated. She really loves you. Look, I didn't think it was that bad. I just thought you were a jealous idiot. I could stop seeing her. I don't want to be the one causing trouble. I gloomed. Not a bad offer, considering you love her. You've offered something she doesn't want to do. She chooses you every time. The truth is, you're a better friend to her than she is to me as a wife. He muttered something in response to that, but I'd had enough and walked him to the door. Oh, and also, Vince, don't come again. I might not be so friendly next time. After dinner, Moira wanted to talk. Vince says he came to see you, told me off, said if he'd known you'd be so upset, he wouldn't have suggested the trip, admitted he was monopolizing my time. So you shared all of our previous conversations with him, and then what? You met with him today to share the results of his visit? Now, do you see why I feel like an outsider in this relationship? Moira still didn't seem to understand, so she continued her story about Vince. When I said you'd get over it, Vince told me to get my head out of my ass and that I needed you. So you listen when he says the same things I say. Of course, that shouldn't surprise me. Moira continued. No one, including you, has the right to control me. I admit I've got my priorities mixed up, but it's not sexy. If I thought you were having sex, you'd be out on the street by now. But even if you forget about sex, you're still prioritizing him. You're his best friend, not mine. and this relationship is hurting us. Look, Moira, it's an honest question. Why aren't you with him? You seem happier when you're together and you barely pay attention to me. Before you went away with him, it was all about what you and he needed. You barely gave any thought to my feelings, and that is not love and shows a complete lack of respect. I'm sorry. I love and respect you, but you're always fine. You're strong and dependable. That's not entirely true, Moira. I draw strength from our relationship. We're a team. We support each other. Here's a challenge. Don't retell this conversation to Vince. But he's bound to ask. Oh, damn it, I give up. Try respecting our relationship and prioritizing it over your friend. It shouldn't be that hard, Moira. There are 3 of us in this relationship, and I'm a distant third. Do you enjoy having 2 men chasing after you, while the man who's clearly in love with you continues to cling to you? Well, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm going to go visit Janice. I enjoyed staying with Janice. She's a good conversationalist, and I felt like it's been so long since I've had someone around to support and care for me. It's been the complete opposite of my marriage lately. We have a lot of shared memories, and we both like to drink, so it was a nice release. It was nice to hang out with my nieces and nephews, as they are on the cusp of exploring the big world on their own. Honestly, I felt better and calmer than I ever have. Moira was in touch almost every day, asking when I would be back, frustrated and lost without giving any sign of it. She was sorry that things had gotten so out of hand and tried to see the situation from my point of view. Rachel was horrified when she found out I had moved out. Her mom was hysterical when she called her on the phone begging for me to come back. I arranged to have dinner with Rachel together to try and explain things. We went to a nice restaurant, and to our surprise, none other than Moira and Vince were there. We both saw them sitting in a booth, smiling and laughing. Just when I decided we shouldn't run away, Rachel burst in at their table. How could you? You're on the phone crying to me about how unreasonable Dad is and how you're having a bad time without him, and here you are having a great time. I can see how you have your priorities straight. Moira and Vince's mouths dropped open, her neck turning purple with embarrassment, and I stood back, quietly amused. Rachel's tirade continued. I don't blame him for dumping you, you self-centered bitch. She turned to Vince. As for you, why the fuck have you been dragging around a married woman for years like a lovesick puppy? Get your fucking life together and move on. Don't you see she likes having you at her beck and call? You're an absolute ego booster. She doesn't even have to sleep with you to make you happy. She turned to me. We're leaving. I couldn't even think of what to add and turned to walk out with her, leaving the stunned couple, not to mention the rest of the restaurant. I knew it was coming. Rachel almost made it to the car before bursting into tears, her legs shaking as I caught up with her and put her in the passenger seat. It took a while before she was able to speak. I'm sorry, Dad, you were right. I can't believe she's like this. Yeah, unfortunately, she still doesn't get it. Moira looked at her daughter in horror. What do you mean your father went to Paris with Linda? Well, Mom, that just proves you were right all along. I think Dad can have a girlfriend, just like you. No, he can't. He said he'd take me to Paris. Yeah, he said something about offering it to you, but you were too busy. We're still married. He can't take that slut for a romantic weekend. It's not right. Relax, Mom. It's not romantic. They're just friends. I know what you mean, but this is different. She'll cling to him. Why would you even bother, Mom? You've been pulling away from Dad for years, putting everyone before him. I don't mean that. I mean that Ian, he's always there for me without me even trying. Well, you better refocus, and fast. This trip is platonic, but if you keep flicking your face, there will be other women who will be more than interested in Daddy. Once again, her daughter shocked her, so much so that it didn't even occur to her to reprimand her for repeatedly using the F word. Linda agreed to our plan. It was actually Rachel's idea to do the real thing, and she asked Linda if she agreed. I confirmed that this was the last option before considering divorce. We had a great time exploring the city, just as good friends. Linda proved to be great company, easygoing and relaxed. She reminded me of what I was missing with Moira. Throughout the trip, Linda was exceptionally positive and enthusiastic. I was surprised when Moira met us at the airport. I expected the angry accusation that was to follow. Moira greeted Linda politely, which took us both by surprise. "Linda, could you give us some time, maybe have a coffee, and then I'll take us all home?" Linda nodded, wishing Moira good luck, and left. We sat nervously in the almost empty arrivals hall. "I'm sorry, Ian. I never understood how you felt. I know I hurt your feelings and neglected you. I missed you so much." At that moment, I couldn't think of what to say. Vince was overwhelmed by Rachel's outburst. He had some pretty tough questions for me, and I didn't like the answers. I was craving his attention and encouraging it, and that didn't reflect well on me as a person. It looked like our friendship was coming to an end. I shrugged. "It's not going to fix us, Moira. You've been ignoring me in favor of someone else. I'm not even sure now if you like me." "Of course you do. I like you and I love you." I was about to reply that I loved her out of habit too, but then it hit me that I wasn't sure anymore. That deep connection with someone special has been missing for quite some time now. Moira noticed I didn't answer, and her eyes widened. "Please give me another chance, Ian. We can't ruin a 23-year marriage over friendship." "Not because of that. But we can if there's no respect, no trust, and if the man you love more than anything else in the world constantly puts other men before you. I know I screwed up. I actually respect you, absolutely. But I took you for granted, thinking you'd always be there for me. That trip to Rome was a mistake. We convinced ourselves that it was just you being jealous and trying to control me, so the trip was partly to show me that I'm an independent and autonomous person. It's hardly independent if you're tied to him all the time." She seemed to be panicking and trying to come up with a good argument for us staying together. Just give me 3 months. I'll prove it to you. No matter what I say here and now, you don't trust me, and I realize that, so let me prove it to you. Give me 3 months to show you that, and if you're happy, then give me another 3 months after that." Her words sounded like a panicked mess, but she seemed sincere. I reluctantly agreed, but without much hope. I found it hard to understand how she could change so radically. At first, she succeeded. It was as if we had gone back 5 years in our marriage, focusing on each other and talking more. I thought the change wouldn't last long and we would go back to our old routine and relationship, but Moira proved me wrong. In the end, I had to tell her to relax more. We're doing well and not to force things. We are spending more time together, listening to each other and sharing all of our plans and designs for retirement. She still sees Vince occasionally, and I'm fine with that. That relationship has changed too. Moira said she is trying to set him up with a couple of her single girlfriends. Linda was happy for us and remains a close friend and neighbor. Rachel is ecstatic and credits her with getting us back together, and I didn't argue much about it. We are now on our 30th 3-month reprieve and still continue to live together.